The first time I saw her, she didn't slow down. She didn't hesitate. She didn't even look back. She just ran past me on that quiet forest trail, her footsteps light but urgent, her breath steady like she belonged to the wind itself. And as she passed, she turned her head just enough for her voice to reach me, playful and daring, like a challenge thrown into the air. "If you can catch me, I'll let you—" The rest of her sentence disappeared into the rustling trees, swallowed by distance and mystery. But something about those unfinished words stayed with me, echoing louder than anything I had heard in months. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet ways people heal each other, take a moment to like this video, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs a little hope, and subscribe to the channel. You never know which story might change your perspective. At that point in my life, I wasn't the kind of person who chased anything anymore. Not dreams, not people, not even happiness. I had moved into that small town just a few weeks earlier, hoping distance would somehow quiet the noise inside my head. It didn't. The silence here only made it louder. The trail had become my escape. Every morning, just after sunrise, I would walk it slowly, as if dragging my thoughts behind me, hoping they would get tired and fall off. It wound through tall trees and patches of wildflowers, with sunlight breaking through in scattered pieces. It should have felt peaceful. But inside me, everything was still unsettled. So when she ran past me that day, it felt like something had broken through the stillness. Not violently, but just enough to remind me that movement still existed. I didn't chase her. Not that day. I stood there for a few seconds after she disappeared, trying to make sense of what had just happened. A stranger had thrown me a challenge, half finished, and for the first time in a long while, I felt something unfamiliar stirring inside me. Curiosity. The next morning, I returned to the trail a little earlier than usual. I told myself it was coincidence, that I simply couldn't sleep, that I needed fresh air, but deep down I knew I was hoping to see her again, and I did. This time, I heard her before I saw her. The rhythmic sound of her footsteps approaching from behind, steady and confident. I turned slightly, and there she was again, running like she had somewhere important to be, even if that place was just the end of the trail. As she passed me, she slowed just enough to match my pace for a brief moment. Her eyes met mine, bright and alive in a way that felt almost unreal. "You didn't try to catch me," she said, her voice softer this time, but still carrying that same spark. I didn't know what to say. Words had become difficult for me lately, like they had to push through something heavy before they could come out. "I didn't think I could," I finally admitted. She smiled, not mocking, not pitying, just understanding. Then she leaned slightly forward, as if sharing a secret. "You won't know unless you try," and just like that she was gone again, her figure disappearing into the curve of the trail. That moment stayed with me all day. Her words weren't just about running. I knew that. They felt like they were aimed at something deeper, something I had been avoiding. The next morning I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I ran. It wasn't graceful. It wasn't fast. My lungs burned almost immediately, and my legs felt like they were carrying more than just my weight. But I kept going, even if it was only for a few minutes before I had to slow down again. And then I heard her. This time, I didn't wait. The moment her footsteps reached me, I pushed myself forward, trying to match her pace. She laughed, a light, genuine sound that seemed to blend perfectly with the morning air. "That's better," she said, running alongside me now instead of ahead. We didn't talk much that day, or the next. Our interactions were brief, scattered between breaths and steps, but slowly, something began to change. Running became part of my routine. Not just for her, but for me. Each day I went a little farther, a little faster, and each day the heaviness inside me felt just a little lighter. I learned her name eventually. It was Era, simple, but it suited her. She had a way of moving through the world that felt effortless, as if she had learned how to carry her burdens without letting them slow her down. But I also noticed something else. Sometimes, when she thought I wasn't looking, her expression would shift. The brightness in her eyes would dim slightly, replaced by something quieter, something heavier. It was brief, almost invisible, but it was there. One morning the trail was empty. I waited longer than usual, walking slowly, then running, then stopping again. But she didn't come. The next day was the same. And the day after that. The trail felt different without her. Quieter, heavier. It reminded me too much of how things used to feel before she appeared, and I realized something that unsettled me. I missed her. Not just her presence, but the way she had unknowingly pulled me out of myself. The way she had given me something to move toward. A week passed before I saw her again. She was sitting on a fallen log near the edge of the trail, her running shoes still on, but her posture different, still tired. I slowed down as I approached her, unsure of what I would find. For the first time, she didn't greet me with a smile. "You stopped running," I said quietly, more as an observation than a question. She let out a small breath, her gaze fixed on the ground. "Sometimes," she replied. "You don't stop because you want to. You stop because you have to." There was something in her voice that made me sit down beside her without thinking. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said something that shifted everything. "I used to run with my brother," she said, her words slow, careful. "Every morning, just like this. It was our thing. No matter what was going on, we'd come out here and just run." She paused, her hands tightening slightly. "He got sick last year. It happened fast. Too fast. And when he couldn't run anymore, I kept going. At first it felt like I was running for both of us, like if I didn't stop, somehow he wouldn't either." Her voice faltered, just slightly. "But then one day he was gone, and I didn't know what I was running for anymore." The weight of her words settled between us, heavy but real. "I saw you on the trail that first day," she continued. "You looked lost, like you were walking through something you couldn't escape, and I thought maybe if I could get you to run even just once, it might help." I didn't realize I was holding my breath until I exhaled slowly. "You helped more than you know," I said. She shook her head gently. "No, we helped each other." That moment felt different from everything before it. The playful challenge, the running, the quiet companionship. It all made sense now. It wasn't just about movement. It was about healing. Slowly, she stood up. "Come on," she said, her voice softer but steadier. "Let's run." And we did. Not fast. Not like before, but together. From that day on, the trail became something new for both of us. It wasn't just a place to escape anymore. It was a place to face things, to carry them, to slowly learn how to let them go. We didn't fix each other. That's not how life works. But we made it easier to keep going. And sometimes, that's enough. Before we reach the end, here's a special request for you. Comment, "I believe in second chances," if this story is starting to resonate with you. Weeks turned into months. The runs became longer, the conversations deeper. We spoke about the things we had lost, the things we feared, and the things we still hoped for, even when hope felt fragile. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the trail in gold, we slowed to a walk. "Do you remember what I said the first time we met?" she asked. I smiled faintly. "You told me to catch you." She laughed softly. "No, before that." I thought for a moment, then it came back to me. "If you can catch me, I'll let you," I repeated, trailing off just like she had. She stopped walking and turned to face me, her expression calm but meaningful. "I was going to say, I'll let you run with me." Something about that felt bigger than it should have. "Why didn't you finish the sentence?" I asked. She smiled, a real one this time, full of warmth. "Because I wasn't sure you would try." We stood there for a moment, the silence between us no longer heavy.